The fall of the morning star. In the beginning, there was only the void, and from the void came light. God, the Creator, breathed existence into the cosmos, shaping worlds, crafting stars, and filling the heavens with beings of immense beauty and power. Among these were the seraphim, celestial beings of pure light, with Lucifer as their brightest star, a radiant figure, full of grace and wisdom. Lucifer's brilliance caught the attention of God, who cherished him deeply. The seraphim sang praises, and their voices echoed through the realms. Yet, within Lucifer's heart, a seed of pride began to grow. He was not merely a servant of God, he yearned for more. He wanted to be equal to God, to be the center of adoration, not just a reflector of divine glory. As eons passed, Lucifer's thoughts darkened. He began to sow seeds of discontent among the other angels, whispering of freedom and power. Why should we serve in shadows? He urged. Why should we not strive for the throne of heaven? The other seraphim listened, their hearts swayed by Lucifer's charisma. They began to question their roles, to doubt the wisdom of the Creator. God, aware of this growing rebellion, approached Lucifer with compassion, hoping to reignite the light within him. Lucifer, God said, his voice a gentle thunder, you were made for greatness, but greatness lies in service, not in rebellion. You must choose humility over pride. But Lucifer's heart had hardened. Why should I kneel when I can stand beside you? He replied, his voice laced with defiance. I will not be a mere reflection of your glory, I will be a source of it. With his words, Lucifer ignited a war in heaven. A third of the angels, enchanted by his vision of freedom, chose to follow him. They believed they could overthrow the Creator, imagining a new order where they would reign supreme. But God, in his infinite wisdom and power, stood firm. The battle that ensued shook the very foundations of heaven. Light clashed with light, and the celestial realms trembled as the loyal seraphim fought against their brothers. But God's love and justice prevailed. The rebels, led by Lucifer, were cast down from the heavenly heights, banished to the desolate realms below, hell. As Lucifer fell, the weight of his actions pressed heavily upon him. In the abyss, stripped of his former glory, he began to understand the magnitude of his rebellion. The echoes of his cries for power faded into silence, replaced by the stark reality of his choices. Yet, even in his despair, a flicker of pride remained. In the depths of his torment, Lucifer sought reconciliation. He approached God, yearning for forgiveness, believing that perhaps God could still see the light within him. I was foolish, he confessed, his voice raw with regret. I sought to be like you. I see now the error of my ways. Please, forgive me. God's response was both gentle and resolute. Lucifer, I created you with free will. You chose to turn away from the light, to embrace darkness. Forgiveness is not merely an act of mercy, it is an invitation to transform. You have embraced your pride so fully that it has become your very essence. Lucifer fell silent, the weight of God's words crashing down on him. He realized that in his pursuit of power, he had severed the bond of trust between himself and the Creator. His pride had consumed him, warping his very nature. Why can't you forgive me? He implored, desperation lacing his tone. Do you not love all your creations? I do love all my creations, God replied, his voice resonating through the void. But true love requires humility. You sought to rise above your station, to grasp what was never meant for you. In doing so, you chose to turn away from me, and in that choice, you lost your path to redemption. Lucifer's heart ached with the reality of his choice. He had not only fallen from grace, he had become a being defined by his rebellion. God's forgiveness was always available, yet it required the willingness to forsake his pride, to return to the light he had rejected. But Lucifer was trapped in his own darkness, unable to relinquish the very thing that had brought him low. In the bleakness of hell, Lucifer gathered his fallen angels, spinning tales of betrayal and injustice, painting God as a tyrant who denied them their rightful place. His bitterness fueled their rage, and together they built a kingdom of despair, plotting their vengeance against the Creator. The more they embraced their hatred, the further they drifted from the possibility of redemption. God, watching from above, felt sorrow for his once beloved angel. He longed for Lucifer to understand that forgiveness was not simply an erasure of sin, but a pathway back to the light. Yet, Lucifer's pride had become a chasm too wide to cross. He would rather reign in darkness than bow in humility. As the eons turned, the tale of Lucifer transformed into legend. To many, he became a symbol of ultimate rebellion and despair, an embodiment of pride and its consequences. In the hearts of the faithful, he served as a reminder of the importance of humility and the dangers of allowing pride to corrupt one's spirit. Lucifer, now a darkened figure cloaked in shadows, ruled over his domain with an iron fist. His followers revered him, but beneath the surface, he battled the remnants of his lost glory and the gnawing hunger for forgiveness. Yet, as the years turned into centuries, that hunger twisted into something else: resentment, envy, and a desire for power that overshadowed all else. Deep within, a flicker of hope remained, an echo of the light he had once known. In rare moments of reflection, he questioned his choices, wondering if he could still change, if he could still seek the light. But the fear of vulnerability, the fear of losing what little power he had gained, kept him bound to his dark throne. One day, amid the chaos of his realm, a whisper broke through the noise. "Seek the light," it urged, soft yet persistent. He recognized it, the voice of the Creator. It stirred something deep within him, but instead of drawing him back, it fueled his anger. "Why do you torment me?" he cried into the darkness. "You cast me away, I am no longer your creation." "I cast you not away from my love, but away from my presence," God responded, his voice echoing through the void. "You are still my creation, and I have always longed for your return." The conflict within Lucifer raged on. He was torn between the remnants of his former self and the dark legacy he had forged. He could not bring himself to admit his pride, nor could he bear to lose his identity as the ruler of hell, and so, he remained, a ruler in darkness, a prisoner of his own making. Time flowed like a river, and as it did, the world above continued to evolve. Humanity emerged, gifted with free will and the potential for both greatness and destruction. They became the focus of God's love, the new creation that bore the image of their Creator. Lucifer watched with a mix of envy and hatred as humans struggled for grace, redemption, and love. They worshiped God, singing praises that once belonged to Him. In their hearts, he sensed the flickering flames of hope and the yearning for forgiveness, a hope he believed he would never attain. The culmination of these feelings erupted one fateful day when a divine messenger came to earth, a being of pure light sent to guide humanity towards the truth. Lucifer, consumed by jealousy, plotted to corrupt this message. He would taint the love and hope the humans sought, to prove that they, like him, were unworthy of grace. But as he engaged in this insidious work, he encountered an unexpected resistance. Within the hearts of those who sought the light, he found an undeniable strength: their belief in redemption, their desire to embrace humility, and their willingness to forgive. They reminded him of what he had lost, the pure joy of being connected to the Creator. In those fleeting moments, doubt crept into Lucifer's heart. Could it be that forgiveness was not just for the humble, but for the proud as well? Could he, in his darkness, still find a path back to the light? Yet the thought was quickly crushed by his pride. To seek forgiveness would mean admitting his failures, a vulnerability he could not endure. As the final confrontation approached between the light of the divine and the darkness of his heart, Lucifer stood at the crossroads. The messenger of God offered him one last chance. "Turn back, Lucifer. The path to redemption is still open to you. Embrace humility, and you shall be restored." But Lucifer shook his head, the weight of his pride bearing down upon him. "I will not be a slave to your light," he declared, his voice a mix of defiance and despair. "I will not return to servitude." God, filled with sorrow, understood that Lucifer's choice was final. "Then know this, my once bright star, your refusal to seek forgiveness will forever bind you to the darkness. I cannot forgive what you will not surrender." In that moment, the truth became clear: forgiveness required more than a plea, it demanded a willingness to transform, to relinquish the very pride that led to the fall. Lucifer's inability to let go of his pride sealed his fate, not because God lacked compassion, but because Lucifer had chosen to define himself by his rebellion. And so, Lucifer remained, a figure of darkness, causing so many distractions in the world today. We have gotten to the end of this chapter about why God won't forgive Lucifer. Kindly like, subscribe and comment your opinion about this. God bless you.